What's going on, everyone? This is Ace and welcome back to The Reckoning, and today we are just going to go over the madness that was SwornFest 2026. Yes, no, I'm so jealous that I didn't get to go and make it this time around, but if there is a SwornFest 2028, I will do my best to make sure that I can be there. Overall, it seemed like an amazing time, and I love seeing photos from both the fans and creators just really enjoying themselves. I was able to catch several panels on the live streams since I couldn't be there in person, and so I just wanted to share with all of you what is planned and upcoming for Coffin Comics. But you know the drill. If you like what we do here on The Reckoning, then feel free to give this video a like, hit that subscribe button, don't forget to click the bell as well, and hype up the video as we want to get more and more people involved with Coffin Comics and Lady Death badassery. So your support is always appreciated, and so now, let's begin. So let's start with some smaller pieces of knowledge that I picked up, starting with Coffin Comics 2026 layout. Now, I have made videos already about some of the titles that I'm excited for, like Lady Death Coffin of Horror, a video which you can check out in the corner above, and if it's already out by the time that I upload this, then I will link it down below or in the corner as well. But I'm also working on a Empress Death video and Mike Morg's involvement in that story, and that is the Empress Death Epitaph for Humanity, and that is set to be released in April. And if it is not out by the time this video comes up, it probably will be coming up next week, so keep your eyes out and be ready. So anyways, starting with Coffin of Horrors, while we didn't get confirmation on all of the teams that will be involved, Brian did drop some creator names that would be on writing duties. He got longtime writer of Vampirella, Tom Sinagoski, which I am totally hyped for, as while he was not one of my initial writers that I had originally picked in my own Dream Team video, but I have thoroughly enjoyed his work on Vampirella. Honestly, Tom's work is usually the only Vampirella that I read, aside from maybe like some spin-offs. Nothing against Christopher Priest's run, as I know a lot of people really enjoy his stuff as well, but for me, I couldn't really get into it whenever I tried. Those covers are tempting though, every time it gets me.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
But I mainly wanted to get into the old Harris comics that Tom had wrote during the 90s, and primarily due to Vampirella's crossing with Lady Death in that time period, and I needed to have context for what was going on. So yes, Tom Sinagoski would be an excellent addition to this horror anthology book, and I can't wait to see what Halloween tale he has in store for us. Jay Photos, who has worked on covers for Mike Morg and has also been involved in several publications such as 68 and Death Dealer over at Image Comics. It was announced that his team will be coming in to write a story, and really, if I followed what he was saying, is that it's going to be in a desert-like town, and it has to do with an old mine. But again, it was very vague, so I'm not sure who or what we will see. Mike McLean also said that the other short story will be with Zack the Zombie Exterminator, which I am cool with, as Zack is a hilarious book and character, and nothing says Halloween better than zombies, so I can't wait to read that one as well. Lastly, John Layman will be another guest writer, and many of you might know him from Chew, Batman, Astro City, Godzilla, Danger Girl, The Scorched, and the list just keeps going. But we did not get any details on what story he would be bringing to life in the anthology, so we will just have to wait and see. For the Lady Gunfighter story, Joel Gomez spoke on how epic of a tale it is working up to be, and also how these supernatural elements add a unique Coffin Comics flair to this Western story. He mentions that the Old West version of La Muerta, who will appear in a bonus story, also has perhaps some power or abilities that we might not have seen before, and that the overall story or world of Lady Gunfighter is a perfect setting for more characters like this version of La Muerta to show up in. And he left it at that, so if you guys have been diehards of the Lady Gunfighter series, it sounds like 2026 is not going to be changing that anytime soon. So for Lady Death Ragnarok, it sounds like Mike really took the lead on this story, and Brian said that this was one of the coolest Lady Death stories that they have ever created, which really has me hyped. I cannot wait to read this one. Now, I wish I could have clarified more, but Mike, when talking about his approach to writing this tale, was he shouted out Brian for having the great idea of putting Lady Death within Norse mythology, and I would also agree that it was an excellent decision. But then Mike quickly states, and I'm quoting here, he says, "It was the Lady Death comic I definitely researched the most before writing and using that mythology as a spine." So when he said this, I was kind of confused a little, just because I didn't know if he was referring to the Lady Death, the Crucible storyline, where she goes to Asgard and defends it against the Chaos Lord Genocide and his armies. This is also the story where we learn about her two sisters becoming Valkyrie, and how her mother Marion had ties to Viking heritage and encountered Odin before Hope was even born. But I'm going to assume that's what Mike was saying or referring to, and if so, that makes me even more ecstatic, as I cannot wait to see how Mike expands upon and just grows the Norse mythology even more within the Lady Death tale. Sounds so cool. After this, Brian makes a point about all of the tales of Lady Death we have had so far, both in 2025 and going into 2026, and how they have been either disconnected or just in all of these different worlds and realms, and for long periods of time at some points. I think he even mentions that for the Lady Death Ragnarok storyline, she has been in this Viking realm world for like some 10 years almost. And he proposes that we, the readers, kind of start beginning to ask why. Why is she unable to return to her normal timeline? What is preventing her from being back on Earth? And who would want to do this and why? I might do another video on my thoughts on this aspect of Lady Death's narrative and share them with you very, very soon, because I am also starting to become more and more curious. At first, this could be two truths at the same time. At first, I thought this was just Brian and Mike having fun with the character Lady Death and just thinking of everything that they could possibly want to do and then going for it, right? Whether that's in a savage land or with dinosaurs or in Norse mythology or with dragons. I just figured they're like, you know what, we want to tell this type of story, how can we fit Lady Death in? But when you start looking at the overall arching narrative, which is something that I always enjoy doing, I mean that's why I do this channel, you guys, I am starting to become curious, is what does Brian and Mike have in store for us? Why is Lady Death not able to return? Who is capable of doing this to her, and what's their motivation? Why would they want to keep her away from the current regular canon universe, I guess, if you will? And so that's very interesting. I also would be very interested to, if we do get some semblance of it, is how this affects Lady Death's character. Is she missing home, her children? What are her worries, her concerns? I also am very curious if we'll ever get revealed of when this all started, like how. So plenty to think about. It doesn't sound like, the only thing I'm disappointed about this announcement is, unfortunately, it doesn't seem like, and I don't want to speak too soon, but it doesn't seem like those answers will come soon, or at least maybe not in 2026, as Lady Death still seems to be kind of bouncing from realm to realm to realm. So we will just have to wait until 2027, possibly, but don't quote me yet, because more stories on the way. Now, some other announcements that were made that I will need to look more deeply into would be the Lady Death Tarot Cards project, but I'm not well versed on tarot cards, really, so I remember them from that movie, Dead or Alive.
I kick ass for the Lord!
Which is absolutely hilarious if you guys have not seen, but anyways, yeah, it's gonna be 22 months, they said, and yeah, I will surely update you guys once I figure out what this actually is going to be. And one thing I can say is that all the artwork will be done by Richard Ortiz, and Brian himself would be working on the text that goes on the back. The other thing announced was Coffin Auction, which is essentially a platform that would auction off very rare collectibles. Brian personally mentioned BP editions, first and second and third editions, and who knows what else, but I thought that that could be pretty cool. Personally, I am not an auction guy, as you see this online more and more nowadays, like, the Whatnot website or app, or those Pokemon collectors, but yeah, just not my thing, but I will be checking it out just in case there's something that I really think would be cool to add to my personal collection. The other thing I'm curious about is if this will be a separate website or if it also will become an app as well. Okay, now the next announcement was about the Dynamite and Coffin collaboration, and yes, I called it, you guys, I called it right. You guys, we are getting omnibuses of the entire Chaos Comics catalog. Yes, I know, I was freaking out when I seen this. These will be done via Kickstarter, and Dynamite will be the hosts, right? They will be hosting these Kickstarters, so keep an eye out, and just so you guys are aware of where to go to be notified. But Brian announced that Nick Barucci pretty much gave Brian the reins and said, whatever you feel the Sworn Nation and Fiends will love, then do that. right. And yes, so since this past summer, it sounds like Brian has been preparing and overseeing how the collections will be put together, and it will start with Evil Ernie. And when I tell you we are getting everything, I mean everything. I'm so happy, you guys, as this is everything I could have asked for, and it will truly make my job a lot easier. Not that I don't love going through all of my short boxes, but you know, when I get all of these in hand, all of these like collected editions, omnibuses, whatever you want to call them, this, I would project, this definitely could increase my video output tremendously. My mind is just racing on all of the possibilities on how these omnibuses will look and feel in the presentation. I love all of it, honestly. Oh, and another thing that I'm super excited about is it sounds like merchandise will be a thing as well. Brian stated t-shirts, posters, and much more. And I know a lot of us Sworn, we love our challenge coins, and it sounds like even challenge coins are going to be prepared for these releases as well. Yes, and so more info will be given out at some time this month, but the first project will be Evil Ernie, and so we will be getting all of Evil Ernie's stories and all of these Smiley the Psychotic Button stories included in there as well. I think Brian had mentioned that it's going to be at least, for sure, I think 3 volumes and well over 1,000 pages in content. I will be doing a second video on this as I have more thoughts, but that is what we know as of right now. Hell truly has frozen over, you guys, and honestly, it feels like a dream come true. So yes, those were the updates that were announced for what is upcoming in 2026 over at Coffin Comics. Oh, and actually one more thing, and this is very vague, but it's too exciting not to at least mention it. Brian made a note for himself with just one word: collaboration. And he followed up with, I believe Lady Death, or at least Coffin Comics, will be making some pretty awesome collaborations with some big names in 2027. He also said that this would be possibly revealed in the San Diego Comic-Con 2027. So I have no clue what this could mean, but you know, I am all for it. Not only does this open the gateway for more creative stories to be done, and honestly, they could just be a lot of fun, but maybe I will do a video on that as well, about the media or characters I would love to see Lady Death and Coffin Comics collaborate with. The possibilities are absolutely just endless. And I will leave it there, you guys. Thanks so much for tuning in, and let me know, what are you guys thinking for the upcoming Coffin Comics lineup and projects? It feels great to be a member of the Sworn Nation so far in 2026, and I am wishing this continued energy all throughout the year. Let me know in the comments down below your guys' thoughts and what you're excited for, and I will catch you in another video. So until next time, take care.